European leaders will convene for an extraordinary meeting due to Trump's claims on Greenland. The President of the United States specifically mentioned the potential threat posed by Russia, which allegedly existed for this Danish island, and formally accused the government in Copenhagen of failing to do anything about it for over 2 decades. Over the weekend, Donald Trump announced a significant increase in trade tariffs for countries that do not agree with his specific claims on Greenland. In response, European states are preparing tariffs totaling 93 billion euros on goods from the United States. More about the conflict. Radio Svoboda correspondent Zoriana Stepanenko.
Donald Trump did not impose tariffs on all of Europe, but on 8 countries. The list includes Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK, Finland, and Netherlands. This stems from Greenland. What unites these countries is deploying troops to the island. This happened after the US president spoke about its insufficient protection. The goal was to support Danish military exercises. The contingent is not large. The French, for example, have about 15 soldiers, while the British, according to Reuters, have just 1. But this was apparently enough to provoke a sharp response from President Trump. Since February, goods from these countries have been subject to a 10% tariff on any product exported to the United States. Starting June 1st, it will increase to 25%. And it will remain in effect, Trump threatened, until a complete and total, quote, purchase of Greenland is agreed upon. 8 countries responded jointly. The threat of tariffs undermines transatlantic unity.
The threat of imposing tariffs undermines transatlantic relations and creates the risk of a dangerous spiral, a worsening of the situation. We will continue to remain united and coordinated in our response. We are committed to defending our sovereignty.
The risk of a dangerous spiral was mentioned by the head of the European Commission in response to the tariffs. Ursula von der Leyen said that Europe will remain united and ready to defend its sovereignty. The head of European diplomacy, Kaja Kallas, ironically noted that Russia and China are apparently celebrating as the tariffs risk making Europe and the US poorer, and also emphasized that we should not lose sight of the main task, ending the war against Ukraine. The British Prime Minister called the tariffs wrong. The Danish Foreign Minister said it was unexpected, given that the military presence of allies in Greenland increases security in the Arctic. He said that the dialogue between Denmark and the US regarding the island will continue.
We have asked for a constructive dialogue with our American allies and friends, free from social media, headlines, and various words. We started this dialogue last week, and we are not backing away from it. Therefore, we will stick to the plan unless the US decides otherwise. But at the same time, of course, we need a response from the EU.
The European Parliament has put on hold the EU-US trade agreement signed in the summer, which many considered to be unequal. It is possible that tariffs on American imports, as stipulated in the agreement, will no longer be 0. This was mentioned as a possible retaliatory measure by sources at Radio Liberty. Among diplomats not authorized to give official comments, tariffs amounting to 93 billion euros are being discussed. But the EU is still considering a final decision. The President of France is proposing to try out the so-called trade bazooka, an option that has never been used here before. Named after the American handheld anti-tank grenade launcher, it's called the European Anti-Coercion Instrument. This is a set of trade measures in response, allowing Europe to impose tariffs and investment restrictions against other countries. It was meant for China, but now Europe is considering it regarding the United States, options that, as Politico writes, once unthinkable. Yesterday, member state ambassadors discussed these issues urgently. Our EU diplomatic sources reported afterwards that using the bazooka is highly unlikely, and they will start traditionally, through the lens of diplomacy. Today, the annual economic forum kicks off in the city of Davos, Switzerland, where the President of the United States and European leaders will meet to discuss global affairs.